Guys, recently I saw a lot of articles and people or influencers talking about the Fantom currency, which is the FTM USDT pair. And the thing most people are focusing on this asset class is the inverse head and shoulder pattern, which you can see on the daily time frame. So, just to give you an idea about the public consensus, guys, they just think that because of the inverse head and shoulder pattern, which is getting unfolded on the daily time frame, of course, it isn't perfect, but you kind of get that idea, right? Like, we have got the inverse pattern in a perfect manner. So the majority of the public is under the opinion that right now the Fantom token might break out of the current range. And I don't want to take any names, guys, and I'm open to criticism also in this regard. I'm just saying that the kind of breakout percentages that people are predicting are outright insane. Like, I saw many articles on major financial outlets which predicted something ridiculous like 50 to 80% gain from the $3 mark. And honestly speaking, guys, in terms of market capitalization, that is just some utter BS, right? Like, there is no way any coin can break that mark at that phase because it is mathematically unsustainable. So let me clear the air and show you as to what is happening with this space so that you can understand and confidently proceed with it in the future. So first and foremost, guys, the main reason I'm talking about FTM is because I entered the long position on this asset class long back, which was around 12th of December. And as you can see, guys, from our current price range, the coin is up a lot. But back then, all we did was took advantage of the support zone and traded it back towards the liquidity areas, which is why we got that. And of course, there were confluence from the technical indicators as well, but that was the main reason as to why we did that. But that was long before in 12th of December. From there onwards, guys, if we just plot out the thing, just see the way it has worked, guys. From the previous support zones, it is up a lot, right? Like, we made a gain of around 91% without leverage, and even now that trade is active. And let me quickly show you that stop loss thing. So yeah, this is what it is, guys. So basically, we have touched all of our targets, and currently we are out of it because a 90% gain on itself is something impressive. But on the longer run, what you need to understand is that on the weekly time frame, guys, all we did was take advantage of the known zones. And when accumulation starts, regardless of what you do with the charts, you can't deny the footprint, right? Like, the accumulation orders and the access to order books are something which everyone will get nowadays if you just do a quick couple of Google searches. And when it comes to key zones like the 50% mark after any kind of rally, that is obviously something you need to be glued to because that is like the make or break point for any token, and that is exactly what we did. So long story short, guys, the case for bulls right now is over, and of course the underlying coin might go up another 5 to 8% in value, but we are not about that. Like, we are not trying to nail in the tops or the bottoms, right? We are just taking a big portion out of the known trading ranges and are exiting with it outright. So that is basically the explanation for the current bull run because it is something which was very anticipated. And coming to the current scenario, guys, there is a double top formation. So here, as you can see, from the $3.40 mark up to $3.60 mark, it's just a balls game. And depending upon mass liquidations that occur around this zone, the price might go higher or lower by 20 or 30 cents very aggressively. So a clear top formation is taking place. That means the bulls won't be able to survive for long, and it is just a known fact, or at least in my opinion, downside is the only way to go. And even if I just put in 200 to 300 bucks and leave it alone, or even just forget about that, I'm pretty sure it will amount to a sizable return, especially with around 3 to 5 times leverage. So that is at least my plan towards it. And here is the biggie, guys. Like, always, if you follow our channel, you know that I just don't give you just random direction. Instead, I focus on the essence of it as well. So as far as the essence goes, just like I said, the majority of people are wrong on this one, and the inverted head and shoulder is just a coincidence, and you can literally draw anything and argue for it. Like, the chart pattern by itself doesn't do much apart from adding like a confluence, and that is why chart patterns have very low success rate as a stand-alone system. So that is one thing you need to know. But on the broader scale, if you notice the double top formation here, guys, just like I said, the liquidity has run out, so you can use any scanner or order book to know that. But if you want to dig into the technicals, this is what it looks like on the weekly. So on the weekly chart, guys, as you can see, even though the price is at the same level, there is a clear stretch difference between the moving averages, like it is making a lower low, and along with that, use any momentum indicator, guys, like hands down. I don't care if you use Williams percentage range, RSI, MACD, or anything, or even CCI for that example. There is a clear drop in momentum, which means the current price run above this zone is just for the show, guys, and you heard it right. Like in terms of market maker, it makes much more sense because they love these kind of zones because that is where maximum manipulation can be pulled off, and that is most likely what is going to occur here also. But regardless of which way you look at it, you just have to accept that the price is way too overinflated and it has to follow a correction very soon. So that is what is going to unfold. So that brings us to the next question, which is what are the targets for this trading setup? So usually what I try to do is I just chart out a simple date and price range, and this is what you're going to end up with. So this is our trading range, right? So we have got around 105 days and 54% move from the previous high. So that is how it works. But once we have got that number, all we have to do is figure out the 50% channel mark because that is going to be a very crucial one. So on the weekly time frame, the 50% channel mark would fall around $2 to $1.80. So literally, we are, even conservatively speaking, 4 to 6 weeks away from the target based upon the harmonics. And by the way, guys, that is how you use the harmonic thing as well. You just look at the left side for time indication, and that will project the right hand side, the time required to reach that. Like, it's not a guaranteed thing in terms of time because price is much more easy to predict than time, but still, that gives you a rough path. And with 4 to 6 week of conservative target, we are bound to see a very aggressive reversal back towards the support zones, and there is a good chance we might even dip below 1.80 mark. And by the time it happens, guys, I will start blocking profit from $2 onwards. So that would be in terms of absolute returns of around roughly 30%. So not bad, and given the way things are unfolding, it is much more easier to find trades like this, guys. So that pretty much covers everything from the time frame needed. And since this is based upon the weekly, and since we are talking about a very big slide towards the downward side, unless you're a scalper, don't even think about checking any other time frames because frankly speaking, you don't need them. All we need to know is the long-term path so that once you connect the dots on the longer time frame, drilling the zones and finding out the directions on the shorter time frame is a piece of cake, guys. So basically that is what it is, and from this point onwards, let the data do all the talking. Like eventually we are going to find out who was correct about the entire scenario, right? So that is something I'm looking forward to. And as always, guys, if you have any questions, shoot a comment below and I will get back to you as soon as possible. To know about all the latest trades on a daily basis and the kind of things you can take advantage of, subscribe to our channel. See you on the next one.